Those who favor the control of guns say that this is the first step towards keeping guns out of the hands of people who should not have them. Those who are opposed to such legislation say that, number one, these regulations get into areas where they do not belong. In other words, they are infringing on individuals' rights. And they say also that these regulations do not have the effect of keeping guns out of the hands of criminals. The people who are caught in the middle in this dispute, and the ones who are going to be most directly involved in carrying out the regulations which take effect on Monday, are the gun dealers themselves. Mr. C.B. Wiley of Wiley's Guns here in Dallas, what is your immediate reaction to these regulations?
Well, it means I'll probably have to hire additional help to handle the federal paperwork. I'm almost a federal employee now, I think.
What is it going to take for a person coming in to buy a gun?
Well, the person who purchases a gun now, in addition to what we used to do, we kept our regulations, our federal firearms regulations. We now have a new form, which is a Form 4473. The individual fills out items 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and so forth. We fill out item 1 through 6 this year, and we then come back down and fill out item 15 and on through until the form is filled out. The purpose of this, we hang on to this form. It stays in our store. It just added work. At present time, we spend 3 to 5 hours a day on gun restoration as it is. When this takes effect, we will probably spend from 6 to 8 hours a day, just federal regulation.
In selling guns to people here, do you think that these regulations and some of the affidavits people will have to sign will keep anyone from having a gun that should not have a
gun? No, sir, they won't. Al Capone could sign this restoration, and he'd be legal in this respect, use his right name and all. He could own the gun. This wouldn't have kept the firearm out of the criminal's hand.
What about the part that the person has to sign saying that he is not a criminal and therefore not legally barred from owning a gun?
Constitutional, I think it was the Supreme Court says a criminal doesn't even have to register his gun because it's a violation of his civil rights.
Do you see no purpose being served by these regulations?
None except additional paperwork. We had gun restoration before. They don't call this restoration necessarily. They call it firearms transactions. It's nothing but gun restoration.
The blood shortage at Parkland is very serious at this particular time. Elective surgeries and some that are almost emergencies must be postponed because there is no blood to back them up while they're in surgery. There'd be much too much danger of some of these people bleeding to death if they attempted to take them to surgery.
In other words, if we had a series of major accidents, there would be the possibility that there would not be any blood to help these patients.
That is a definite possibility. If we had 1 or 2 major accidents today, we might have a very likely possibility that 1 or more would die from the lack of blood.
There is a national problem, and there is from time to time a seasonal problem that occurs with colds or inclement weather or busy holiday seasons when people are just too busy to come to the bank. I think, however, this is it would be too simple to say that this is the only problem, because one of the great problems is the fragmentation of blood banking by $5 a pint blood banking. This has tended to sell the idea that life can be bought, and of course life cannot be bought when it comes to blood banking, because we cannot save human lives by transfusing dollar bills.
We had gun restoration before. We haven't succeeded in doing anything other than putting extra people on our federal employment records. We have also added extra work to myself and my staff. They have succeeded, the federal government has, in taking over a little bit more in business of ours. They have succeeded in putting small gun businesses out of business. We have bought probably several, I'd say approximately 8 or 10 in the last 6 months, small gun businesses out of business who couldn't continue on because they didn't have the qualified personnel or the personnel who could handle the paperwork. We'll probably have to enroll someone in law school to be able to interpret this law.
Do you feel that criminals actually go into a normal gun store, such as yours here, to buy a gun, or do they get them somewhere else?
Apparently not. We had a burglary about 3 months back, lost some 120 guns. Only 2 of these have ever been returned. These guns are apparently in the hands of criminals. They were unregistered apparently now. They are registered when they were in my store. We haven't been able to locate any of the guns, neither has our police department.
So the criminals come near stealing the guns or buying them from someone who did steal them rather than buying them over the counter and signing for them.
Yes, sir. We'll never see the criminal standing in line at the courthouse to register his guns.
Mr. Sheldon, what advantage does a computer system of this sort offer over the old manual system of providing credit information?
Well, it offers primarily 2 distinct advantages. First of all, there's the advantage of speed. Computers, of course, are very fast animals, and this means that the consumers and credit seekers of Dallas County can obtain credit that they seek much faster than before. The system works approximately 50% faster. It means that the people don't have to wait as long to obtain credit as they used to. Secondarily, it means a great deal increased accuracy, less confusion between credit records. It means that individuals will have their privacy protected more. No longer is it possible for anybody to obtain a credit report on individuals. It's solely restricted to the 2,500 legitimate credit grantors of Dallas County that want reports on credit seekers. And, as they require credit information, they can only get credit reports by properly identifying themselves through a code number assigned by us only after careful investigation. After this has been satisfied, then our trained operators will give our subscribers credit reports for the people who are trying to obtain credit.